Okay, should be live. Let's see. Just checking. If you hear me, please let me know. Perfect. Okay. So, welcome everybody to this fourth episode of PodcAds, the podcast in which I try to interview the best and maximum experts of digital marketing, Facebook ads, and so on. This fourth episode, I will be all alone. I will talk about, as I announced on Instagram before, about my method, which is less clicks, more sales. So how do I test creatives? How do I assess the results of creatives? And how do I measure the impact of Facebook ads for a business? As I announced, this time I will be live also on Instagram. So I'm actually live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I already see a lot of comments. Perfect. Thank you. Hello, everybody. And I also signed some questions that you made in my Telegram group. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should find the links here below or on Instagram if you are on Instagram. And I think we can start. And so, for the people who don't know me, I'm Paolo. I'm a Facebook advertiser since 2017, and my goal is to help you understanding better how Facebook ads works and how to assess the results of Facebook ads by looking at the metrics that count. And here's actually the topic I'd like to discuss about this day today. So I will talk about my method, which is less clicks, more sales. Why is it called like this, and why may sound a bit of counterintuitive, but actually is the way to go with Facebook ads in 2023, most of all. So less clicks, more sales is like my philosophy, which consists in not like having some techniques that can improve your CTR, that can improve the likely how people are likely to click on your ad, but actually how can you attract more quality clicks instead of more quantity clicks, and generate as much revenue as possible in your e-commerce, or get as many leads as you can. Why is it? It may sound counterintuitive because, as many of you know, we were taught for a long time, and I have been taught actually, that CTR is like the metric to look at when you run the ads, because if you have like a 2% CTR, it means that the ad is clickable, the ad found really interested people in your product and possibly in buying your product, and you are making a lot of awareness. Of course, there's a side of truth in this. Of course, if your ad is clickable, more people will click. But why this doesn't mean that you will have a lot of sales. The reason is that the reason why people click on your ads may be multiple. Maybe that your ad is funny, rather if it was your intention or not. But if it was funny, if you made any sort of misspelling of your product or just some mistake in the grammar, your ad will be clicked. And that is, but that is not your objective. Your objective is not to like make fun of people and make them make them laugh at your ad. That is not strictly correlated with your sales and with the results of your e-commerce, and that should be a fact. So clicks have like different levels of understanding and different levels of intention of the people. So your ad may be clicked because maybe you, I don't know, maybe multiple. You hired an influencer which is very famous, so people would like to know more about the influencer. Or your ad may be, I always make this metaphor, which is, imagine you are promoting a trading course, so where you teach how to trade, how to like leverage the stock market to make profits and so on. You can say in an ad, for example, become rich quick thanks to trading. I can guarantee you, as I always say, I can guarantee you that you can get a 10-15% CTR. But what is the thing that happens? It may happen that people um, may think that it was a quick win. So, okay, if I click on this ad, I will become rich quick. So you actually attract very, very low quality customers, very, very low quality clicks, and people that when they understand that it is actually a course they have to pay, and they have like to put effort in it, they have to study it a lot. What they can do, it can happen. Two things can happen. The first one is that people purchase your product, your service, your course, because they think and they are sure, thanks to your ad, that they will become rich quick. But then when they discover that in the course they don't get the results promised in the ad, which is become rich quick, they ask for a refund. They talk bad about you, about your service. They tell you that you are a scammer and so on. And that can happen, actually. The second thing that can happen is actually that people don't buy your product, because don't buy your course, because they didn't understand from the ad that they would have had to pay for a course to follow and to put effort in. And that is really important, because in your ad, you should always make things as clear as possible. But let's dive deeper into what actually can make an ad clickable, even if this doesn't mean that you get a lot of clicks and a very, very high CTR. Ads may be clicked if you actually leverage on their psychology. So, of course, Become Rich Quick has a lot to do with psychology. So I'm not talking about the usual biases and cognitive biases that you can leverage to make people click and buy your products. That is not the only element that should be in your ad. Because of course your ad should always be very much coherent with what you are selling, and you must be clear as much as possible, both in the ad and in the website that you are landing people to. And this is actually one of the points I would like to focus on, which is the user experience. The user experience, we were taught, and actually it is like this, that it starts when people land on the page. In my opinion, the user experience starts when people see the ad. So when the people watch the ad and they come in front of your ad, the user experience starts. So to make the user experience as much fluid as possible, you must have a very, very coherent color palette, communication, tone of voice, a very clear message which is coherent with what you say in your landing page. And that's one of the reasons why the example that I did, so Become Rich Quick, generates a lot of clicks, because the experience starts from when they watch your ad and they feel like excited, they feel that they can change their lives. So there's a lot of psychology involved. But when they see that there's a course, there's this misconnection. And this is a perfect way to attract a lot of low quality clicks. But even if they are not low quality clicks, they are clicks that are not going to convert. So to make another example, which is something like selling these headphones, so gaming headphones, an ad may be like, let's make two examples of an ad which is attracting a lot of low quality clicks, and an ad which can potentially attract high quality clicks, and so less clicks but more sales. A low quality click grabber may be like become the best video gamer in the world. That something like this. Of course, you are selling a dream, which is making people receive and reach a desired outcome, which is becoming the best player maybe in the world. But actually, your headphones are not going to provide that. Your headphones cannot provide that. And they will see like the misconnection between what you said in the ad and what they see in the product page, which is a photo of these headphones. So let's make an example of an ad that may work, which may be make your gaming experience immersive. Wow. This kind of ad has a lot to do with the psychology. So, because you make them feel that they will reach that desired outcome, so making the gaming experience immersive, thanks to a product which actually makes the gaming experience immersive, because of course you have all your all your ears covered, and maybe the quality of the sound of your headphones is very very high quality. And so and here comes the crucial part. So we understood the two differences of messaging which can attract low quality or high quality clicks. Once your high quality click is taken, so once you attract your people telling make your gaming experience immersive, you should always, in my opinion, um, retell them on your website. So, for example, the headphones in the name of the product is, for example, gaming immersive or headphones X. What you need to make your gaming experience immersive, or to make it shorter, um, the headphones for immersive games, something like that. All of this is really improvised, and I hope to having provided some insights about what is the difference of having high quality clicks and low quality clicks. So what is like you could tell me what is the way of assessing the results if not with CTR? Before telling that, I would like to see if there are any comments. I see a question. Okay, nothing serious. Say hello to everybody. I see you are a lot. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for the question. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all. So, okay. So, what is the how do you assess the results of your ads if not with CTR? Of course, I understand that this has become very very hard since 2021 because of iOS 14 and the lack of data that your ads and the Facebook can get from your website. Even if with conversion API you should be all set. But let's suppose that your tracking is not very good, that your tracking doesn't allow you to understand from a real point of view what your CPA is, and so you need to look at different metrics. First of all, as I said, with conversion API, with the attribution, the various attribution settings of Facebook, you may be able to understand that. And the first thing I will do is to check if there's a connection between the results that you see in Facebook ads and the results that you see in your e-commerce. So if you see like 10 sales from Facebook ads, so with the 10 purchases, and then on your e-commerce you see 8 or 7, you should dive deeper and understand, thanks to the compare attribution settings tool, which is under the columns on Facebook ads, you may be able to understand what is the customer journey. So if maybe people are, if maybe those 10 sales that you see in Facebook ads are coming, all of them from 7-day clicks and just one from 1-day click, or all of them from 1-day view. And this can give you a lot of insights, first of all, of what may be the ideal customer journey of your client. Let's make an example. You have some e-commerces in which I often see like Facebook saying like 200 conversions a day, while in the e-commerce I just see like 100, maybe 150 and something like that. Why this happens? This happens because the amount of data that Facebook reached and took from the previous days and previous money he spent, and in which he acquired the first impressions of the users, may have a data lag. So, for example, a conversion which happened 4 days ago, you may see that today because of 7-day clicks. So in by comparing the attribution settings, you will see in the 7-day click a lot of you may see a lot of conversions there. So you must always, as always, contextualize what you see, what you read, and understand how is this connected with the customer journey. Because we must always remember, and this is something I would always say, people don't buy. People don't buy. Sorry, I read that comment. People don't buy just from one source. It can happen that people watch your ad on Facebook and then purchase immediately, but it may happen that maybe people watch your ad on Facebook and then purchases from Google. And why this happens and why this is very, very important, because you should always contextualize where the first impression come from. So, for example, for Facebook, and then they search from it for your brand on Google, and thanks to the brand protection ads that you make on Google Ads, the conversion took place. And so you will see the double conversion both on Facebook and on Google. But you should be always able to contextualize that and to know your customer journey. So besides of that, instead of just looking at the columns, the compare attribution settings, so when they click, when they view, and 7-day click, and 28 days click in some accounts, you should, most of the times, the CPA is correct. So most of all, look at the 1-day click conversions, which may be the most impactful conversions that you can see in your Facebook ads, and they may be the most impactful ads that you have generated. So if an ad has like 2 ads have 20 conversions each, and you see that one of them has a 7-day click, a lot of 7-day click conversions, and the other has as much 1-day click conversions, it means a lot of things. So you should always contextualize, but it could mean that the second ad is the one which drives more conversions. This doesn't mean that the other ad must be turned off, but it may mean that the people watch it, as Charlie said in the first episode of PodcAds. It may mean that people see the first ad as a first impression, then Facebook, which we know it auto retargets with the creatives you put also in the prospecting campaigns, it may show this second ad, and this second ad may drive the conversion. And that's the same method that applies when you do both Facebook and Google ads. So people watch the Facebook ad, then search on Google, and they purchase on Google. This means that both ads impacted your conversions, and which is not only one channel and one ad that drives the most of your conversions. So once you see your CPA and you see the sort of correlation between what you see in the Facebook ads and what you see in the backend of your e-commerce, you should always take into account what is your lift and incrementality. This is something I usually do with e-commerces in which I test a lot of creatives. So I always take note of the new tests I do. So, for example, if I have to do a new test in which I put a creative with a new angle, so the new angle is maybe traveling, I take note of what I've done in that day. So, for example, today, 22nd of May, I made a new angle on Facebook ads. I added the new creatives with this new angle, and since this day I'm making I don't know 200 conversions per day on average in the last week. Then after a week, I watch at the e-commerce. I look at the e-commerce backend. I see what is the average daily orders, which may be, for example, 204, 204 conversions. This may mean it is not guaranteed, and this is not just another level of assessing your results, and it is not the the ending point. It is just one of the starting points. You shouldn't. You may attribute those 4 conversions on average per week, per day, weekly. So which is 28 more conversions thanks to these new ads. And so you can calculate like the lift and incrementality, which is different from the CPA. So it may be stupid to attribute all of these new 28 conversions per week to one ad or to one angle, but you may think that a new touch point has been added in the customer journey of your customers, of course, and that you can assess the results from there. So you can see, okay, we are taking the right direction. We are going through the right way. At the contrary, if once you add these new ads and your conversions daily go from 200 per day on a weekly average to like 150, it may mean, as always, a lot of things, but one of them may be that those ads are not relevant to your audience. And this also changes if you made like CBO or ABO, because if you made a CBO campaign in which you add the new angle, this may mean that Facebook may have switched the spending from your existing assets to the new one, and that those 50 conversions that you have less every day may be caused by this new angle, which is not relevant to your audience. Some of you may say, okay, but Facebook is very smart. Facebook is a machine that learns every day, and we should always trust what Facebook is spending his money on, rather if it's on the ads under one ad set or if it is on the ad set of a CBO campaign. And that's true. Facebook is very powerful. Facebook understands a lot about your customers and can make you reach the highest quality people as possible. But you should always take into consideration that you have an e-commerce, you have a business, and that this business may have up and downs. And when you have downs for a long time, you shouldn't say always, okay, but Facebook is doing his work, so I trust him. Because, of course, Facebook is doing his work, but you are generating less revenue. So how much, for how long should we trust the Facebook algorithm? You should trust the Facebook algorithm as long as you get the results you want, because it may happen that Facebook makes some mistakes, and it is not always Facebook's fault. Of course, you should have added all bad creatives, not relevant creatives. You should send always negative signals to Facebook, and even if Facebook is very powerful and very smart, you should not you may not reach the results you want, even with machine learning of Facebook, CBO, and budget allocating based on the best creatives for your people. Because, of course, if the input is bad, the output will be bad as well. So this is the reason why you should always take into account that Facebook can make mistakes. So, for example, Facebook is constantly optimizing the placements in which you run the ads. For example, from a day to another, Facebook may say, okay, let's try putting the majority of the budget of your automatic placement selection to the Instagram stories instead of Facebook feed. And as long as it did Facebook feed only, you had like, let's say, 20 euros CPA. And once it switches to the Instagram stories, your CPA goes to 35 euros cost per acquisition. And you may say, okay, but Facebook understands the people you are targeting. Okay, and that's okay. But if that affects your results, so if your blended CPA becomes actually 35 euros, and of course it's very higher, comparing it to the 20 euros of before, you should take action, in my opinion, because Facebook is making constantly optimizations in order to find maybe the best solution for you. So without these constant auto optimizations that Facebook does, you may not have good results for a long time. And sometimes Facebook, when it switches placements, he does the right way. It does the right way, the right thing to do, and it increases your sales and it decreases your CPA. But when it doesn't happen, so when it happens that he makes a bad decision, which is maybe switching to a placement to another or switching to like a date age range to another, your business is affected and you should take action in order to fix that. Be it by making maybe having some patience and see if Facebook will come back to the placements again, or be it duplicating your ad set and switching to manual placements just to the placements that were providing you good results. And this is something that can still happen, and it still happens on some e-commerces that I'm managing. And the way to do is to sorry and the way to do that is actually acting manually, and this is the best way to like giving the best control to Facebook and leveraging on the machine learning. So as long as your results are good, don't touch anything, because Facebook is auto optimizing and is providing you even better results over time. But once they start performing worse, you should that into account and have a look on that. It would be not very smart to like switching from a day to another placement just because Facebook one day decided to test a new placement and you had a bad performance for one day, so you should wait for more days. But once you see that results are becoming unsustainable for like 7 days, 8 days, 10 days, 14 days, 1 month, you should take action and understand from the date when the results started being worse, comparing it to the period before, you should see by breakdowns what Facebook changed. So, for example, it switched spending from age 18, 24 to like 50, 65. That is a bad optimization and maybe one of the reasons why your results may be dropped. I hope I covered everything. There shouldn't be anything else to let you understand what is the the method that I'm using. So we talked about the lift and incrementality. So once you add a new test, a new creative, you should see the percentage of change, be it positive or negative, of your actual business, of your blended CPA, and of your blended results. So your it may be called MER, which is marketing efficiency ratio. So the how much you spend and how much you earn from all the marketing activities, and understanding that you can see and watch at your data also from different levels. So you can see the CPA, which happened calculated from 7-day clicks, from 1-day clicks, and 1-day views. This doesn't mean that 1-day views and 7-day clicks are bad, but it just means that there's something else going on. So people maybe are looking at your reviews online, or that people had an emergency and forgot about your ad and saw that another time the day later and they purchase it again. So reasons may be multiple. Your objective may, of course, the ideal situation may be that you are able to sell to people from the first click. So people see your ad, people click on your ad, and people buy. This happens very, very rarely. If you're able to do that, congrats. That's a great objective, and you shouldn't have even any problems about assessing your results and attributing that sale. But consider and take into account that it's very rare. People are becoming even more not they are not trusting very much e-commerces these days, this month. um, we should take into account that the e-commerce retails, I don't remember the exact percentage, but since 2022 decreased a bit. So you should take into account that because of inflation, because of financial insecurities and so on, there's a lot of things to take into account and to assess before telling this ad doesn't work. This ad has a lot of 7-day click conversions, so I should turn it off, and so on. So take into account that the customer journey is very long, and take into account that you may look at a lot of several things, both from a qualitative and a quantitative way. So always look at your reviews, always look at the comments under your ads in order to understand what is going on your business. For example, these days, one of the businesses I'm working with, like they had a drop in performances. So they were doing like 800 euros per day, switching from like 400, 300 from a day to another, and consistently for a week. And we found out that the reason was that many people were commenting under the ads saying, I didn't receive the pack, I didn't receive the order, I ordered 7 days ago, and it didn't arrive yet. So reasons may be multiple. In this case, we just implemented an email marketing automation. We are trying to implement an email marketing automation which says your order is being processed, your order has been shipped, your order will arrive in X days. And so you should always take into account also this qualitative data. So people who comment under your ads, which is a very gold mine. You may find out a lot about your customers and about the clients of your clients, and understand what people are feeling about your business. If you want to know more, you can actually send me a DM on Instagram, or if you are seeing this in another social, you can DM me and text me research in order to have a free guide which is called Less Clicks More Sales, in which I tell you exactly how to like assess the results, but actually how do you make the market research. So I will also talk about this comment section part, which has to be done before and after, and you will understand how. Um, and also you should you will understand how to assess the data and how to make ads that actually generate a lot of less clicks but more sales. So less clicks but more quality clicks. And this is something you should, as always take into account. And the reasons why you should focus on that is because think about how Facebook targets your people. We know that Facebook targets with creatives. We know that Facebook has a lot of data outside the ads manager. So once people land on your landing page, you can see the pixel, of course, the pixel triggers, and the pixel watches what people are doing in your website. And so imagine to have like 1,000 people entering your e-commerce and not making any purchase because you just attracted low quality clicks. Imagine how people and how Facebook will think. about this. So Facebook will receive a lot of bad signals. So, for example, people who add to cart and then don't make purchase, people who click watch the website and then go out from the website without even adding to cart. And this why happens for the reasons we spoke about before. So because of misspelling and misleading messages in your ads, and a non-connection between your ad user experience and your website user experience. And this is something that you don't want to. So you don't want to be seen by Facebook as a bad advertiser, that as an advertiser that provides very very few value to to the users of Facebook. And you actually want less people to come into your website, but who are more likely to purchase, to make a purchase, and to make quality actions. Quality actions may be uh, add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase. Of course, it should be as much high as possible the people who actually make a purchase rather than people who just add to cart. But by attracting more quality people, you will be able to do that and to be seen by Facebook as a good advertiser, which converts a lot of people from Facebook, and that actually will allow you to even have low, let's say lower CPMs, but actually higher quality people to see your ads, higher quality targeting from Facebook, and so a higher quality um, audience that sees that watches your ads. So I think I spoke about everything about my method, but I have some questions from you from my Telegram group. If you are not in my Telegram group, just send me a DM or watch the link in my bio on Instagram. I took note of those on it by hand. Um, some of you asked me what is my day-to-day management for 300 euros per day. uh, in the meantime, thank you. You are really a lot to me. Right now we are 8 people, and I'm very very proud of this. I hope I'm providing you the best value possible. If you have any questions, you can ask me. If you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, on Twitter, you can ask me in the comments, and I will see them on StreamYard. Or if you are on Instagram, you can click here to the questions mark button or in the comments, but it is less likely that I will watch them. So to answer your questions about day-to-day management of 300 per day, uh, what I do is it depends, of course, if the client is new or if the client you scale that to 300 euros per day, because that changes a lot how you manage your client. But with 300 euros per day, what I actually do is, of course, having first of all, the structure. The structure may be the simplest possible. Most of all, if you have a bigger budget, you want to have as much data as possible in less places possible, as Barry said in the third episode of PodcAds. And what you can do for that is, let's suppose that we have the simple structure which is made of one campaign, a scaling campaign, CBO, one ad set, advantage, shopping plus if needed, in which you have all your winners. And in the other campaign, you have like be it an IBO or a CBO testing campaign, so in which you test new to creatives and new concepts every week. We will see. What I actually do is I take a look of what is happening from both Facebook and e-commerce backend perspective. So I watch at if everything is under control, if everything is going smoothly, and if you made ads that are actually good, and this is what we spoke about with Barry in the last episode, you may have possibly ads that can last forever. I have some ads that are running since December 2020. So 2020. So ads that are lasting for 2 years and a half. And this is possible. This is actually possible, and this is something that you should aim to do and you should aim to reach. Because if the ads have like a psychological appeal, you are able to make ads that last, not I wouldn't say forever, but ads that last as long as possible. And so for the winners, if you made that well, you shouldn't touch them, and you shouldn't be in need to touch them. But I usually test from tier of test per week. By of test, I mean a new ad set in which I test or new concept or iterations. So, for example, if you found out that your winning angle is, for example, let's take the example of before. So, if your winning ad, if your winning concept is talking about traveling, so travel people, make people travel better over and over again, you may have some ads in your winning ad set and your winning campaign that leverage on those psychological traits and on those angles. And you should have also an ad set in which you iterate those creatives. So, for example, if your ad says, thanks to this product, you can travel again, you can make an ad set in which you test, for example, having the same image that you used in the other creative, but with another text, which may be traveling is now possible again, thanks to this product. This is a form of iteration. Another form of iteration may be that you say the same text but with a different image, or you say that same thing with that same image but in a video form. That is very easy with Canva to make like GIFs, so videos that are on loop, which actually represent one image, which is a bit of animated. And by doing this, you have like you this is an example, of course, of tier test that I usually make in the campaigns, and I usually do in a 300 euros per day, not more than one tier per week. So in each tier, I usually test 3 creatives, be it with the method of Charlie. So three sorry okay three images, sorry, three, one image, one video, and another image, and 2 texts, so 2 copies and 2 headlines, as Charlie says and as Charlie explains in his 322 method. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the first episode of PodcAds. Or be it that you test 3 different images, not in DCO, so not in dynamic creative, and you test 3 different copies, whatever it is. I don't usually test more than 3 creatives for each tier of test. And as I said, each test you can run it for a week, and you can keep it running for a longer time if it keeps providing you results. And it is very, very important. Don't turn off your ad or ad set if it keeps providing you results. That is very risky. It is not guaranteed that you will reach the same people as before if you move this ad to another campaign by turning that off. So as long as it provides you results, keep them running also on the testing campaign, because testing, it is for you a test. But for people, it is an ad which is performing and which is leveraging on their psychology traits, and it is making them buy your product. And this is your end result and the end outcome that you want to obtain if you have an e-commerce, to make sales. Rather, if it comes from a retargeting, prospecting, stable campaign, testing campaign, experiment campaign, be it whatever it is, if it provides you results, don't turn it off. So I hope I answered this question. And what is my creative strategy is another question that I received always in the Telegram group. My creative strategy, it is very variable because I always test new and different ways of making creative tests. But what I usually do is I run the creatives on a separate campaign or a separate ad set for the accounts in which I use the 322 method of Charlie. But let's make it simple. We have two campaigns: one that is stable and one thought for testing. In the testing campaign, I usually put all ad set in a BO, and in each ad set, I run a different tier of test, as I said before. And in this test, I run three creatives with usually three different copies, but let's suppose you run them with the same copy. Once I find winning, hello everybody. Once I find the winning creative, I I don't stop it until it provides good results, but actually I create iterations out of it. As I said before, you can make iterations by changing the image but keeping the same text into your creative, or by maybe changing the text of your creative, maintaining the same sense and the same psychological traits that you want to leverage on, but changing the image. So this is what I do, and I keep them running as long as they provide results. Once this creative stops performing, be it for whatever reason, for more than 2-3 days, I stop that from the testing campaign. I take the post ID of that winning creative and I move that to my winning campaign. And 99% of the times it keeps performing again because it is inserted into an optimized and constantly improving campaign. And sometimes, and most of the times, almost always, it keeps performing better on this new structure. But as long as it provides results, I usually keep that on the other campaign, in which I keep running tests, regardless of if there are like one or two running. Every week, on average, I test three new creatives based on or iterations or new tests and new concepts. You can do both, of course. I usually do or new concepts or iterations separately, so that I can understand if iterations are working and which, in case new concepts are working. And this is what I do for my creative strategy. I don't know if I answered your questions, and if you have any more questions, you can ask me here below. Then, what we can do if the results are not stable? It depends, because results may not be stable. This is another question that I received in the Telegram group. The results may not be stable for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons may be that your budget is very low and you didn't find your like winning combinations of ads and ads plus text and so on. In this case, it is really hard to stabilize the results. Okay, I will reply to this question later. So we were saying, if the results are not stable because of the budget, it is really hard to know what to do, because the results may not be stable just because the budget is very low and Facebook is not able to find every day the ideal audience for you. Because if Facebook is asked to optimize for like 50 euros per day as budget, and he must find your best combination and your best audience with those 50 euros. It may be able to find that the first day, maybe also the second day, but the third day, he doesn't have enough data to find similar people for you and to keep scaling and to keep having good results. So if that is the reason, there is not one way of doing, because you will always have too poor data, too few data, too little data, sorry, to understand what to do and how to act in that way. But let's think about if you have a higher budget, so up to €500 per day, and you don't have stable results, it means that it can mean a lot of things. If you don't have good results from the beginning, so you are testing new things, but you have a good day and the next day is bad, and the next day is even bad, the fourth day it starts improving, but it is not a stable result still. It may mean that your ads are not very targeted to people, so that your ads don't resonate to your audience, and that this means that you may have had luck in finding good results in the first days, but actually your ads are not speaking to the right people. And this may be one of the reasons if you are just starting. While if you are not having good results, once your campaign spends like €28,000 and he's spending €28,000, uh, the not stable results may be caused by a lot of things. One of these may be creative fatigue, so that you are running the same ads for a long time, frequency is increasing, sales are not increasing as the frequency increases, and that people are not responding to your ads that much as before. This may be one of the causes, one of the reasons why you have not stable results with a high budget. And in that case, the only way of doing is to advertise better. So to make creatives that can leverage even more on the psychology. And in that case, if your campaign spent a lot of money and your single ads spent a lot of money, you are actually advantaged because you are able to see the common traits that all the ads have, and that you can replicate and maybe even iterate on your next ads. So let's suppose you are promoting. Let's make the example of headphones again, and you see that all your ads casually have like a black background, and they are performing, and at some point it stops performing, so you don't have stable results and a stable CPA. What you can do is two things: testing new creatives, of course, in which one creative maybe has one creative maybe has like a green background instead of a black background. This is the first iteration. So you have actually the same creative, but with a different background, which will reach, as we know, a different audience and maybe new CPAs and new clients. And another thing may be that you keep the same background, which is black, that you know that worked, but you use different copies, so a different text into your image. This is something you can do easily, fast, and that can most likely improve your results. If your results don't become stable even after that, it may mean two things. The first one is that you didn't make good creatives, so the reason was that the creatives are too similar to the others, so you don't reach new people, and so people think that this is the same ad, or that maybe you even saturated, but it shouldn't be the case. Another reason may be, I forgot that. Another reason may be that, very nice. Another reason may be that your ads, that the reason is not in the ads. That was the answer. That the reason is not the ads, but maybe, as I said, for a client who spent a lot of money on a single campaign and suddenly stopped performing, the reason was that the comments were full of negative comments about the shipping, about people who didn't receive the product even if they paid in advance, and so on. So you should always look at everything around your business, and not only in your ads manager, before taking action on ads that are spending since a long time a higher budget. So you should be very careful about that if you want to ask me for a specific case, you can ask me in the DMs, and I will try uh, to help you. But most of the times is because something happened in your business. So negative comments, negative reviews, bad experiences, a lot of returns, people who had a bad experience and told their friends, and reasons can be multiple. If it's not the case, it's maybe fraud fatigue, and in that case, you should be good by adding new creatives with new concepts, or by iterating concept that you know that works. Uh, if the answer is test more creatives, how do you test? I think I answered that before. So I have some questions here in the comments, which is, how many creatives do you test each week? I already answered this, but to answer again, uh, from my perspective and from my method, I don't test more than 3 creatives every week. Most of all, if the budget is like very high. And the reason for that is that if your ads have a good psychological claim, your ads may work for a long time. So it is not always true that Facebook needs a lot of creatives and a lot of creative refresh in order to work. But sometimes you just need to advertise better. For example, for one of my clients, I found out that the creatives were fatiguing too fast. And the reason for that was that we were targeting Gen Z, and Facebook was spending the majority of the budget to Gen Z, which were, of course, a good client base. But maybe our ideal customer was like millennials, and we just switched the spending, as I said before, so manually duplicating the ad set, and making and changing the age range to from Gen Z to millennials only with those ads. And we were finding out that those ads were fatiguing even later. So from like, I don't remember, it was maybe 8 or 9 days of creative fatigue for before, and then switch it to like 16, 17 days creative fatigue, which this is actually the way you can scale your business, because the less work you have to do, both as an advertiser and also as an business owner that has to order more creatives and so on, the less work you have to do, the better it is for your business, because you have more time to focus on what matters and what can actually improve your business. So if you focus too much on creating too many creatives, as Sarah Levinger says, it doesn't mean you have a good creative test and a good creative strategy workflow, but it may mean a lot of things. One of these is that you are not making creatives that resonate to your audience, and this is also what I say in my free book, Less Clicks More Sales, which, to remind you, you can send me a DM saying research, and I will send you for free my ebook, in which I talk also about this. Your ads may resonate to your audience. Your ads may leverage on psychology of your customers. You should be very, very aware and know deeply the needs, the desired outcomes, and the fears of your customers in order to make creatives that can last as long as possible. And this is possible. And if it is not possible, it means you rather have or a market problem, or a product problem, or a creative problem. So you should focus on these three and understand what may be the reason why your ads are fatiguing too fast. Um, I think I covered everything. I answered all your questions. If you have more, just ask me here. I just wait for some seconds before closing this live. And to remind you, I have just to waiting for your questions. Again, if you send me a DM, text me research, I will send you for free my ebook, Less Clicks More Sales, in which I covered a lot of points here in this live. If you're on Spotify, let me know what you think about this podcast. Who do you want me to interview next? While if you're on Instagram, Let's keep in touch. Ask me any questions. Even when I close the live, I always answer to everybody who ask me, to everyone who asks me any question. As I don't have any more questions, I close this live. I thank you everybody for being with me. Okay, no, I have a new question. What type of strategy you think is better for local activities on Facebook? That's unfortunately a too generic question. I cannot reply in a live. Maybe I will do a specific live about this, or just ask me in the DMs your specific case, and we will see that. But besides of that, just to remind you, this is okay. This was podcast for the first time also on Instagram, because I was alone, and so I didn't have to like share the audio of the guy I was interviewing. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the comments. And this was Podcasts 4. You can find me on Spotify, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram if you're watching me on Instagram. And I hope I have provided you much value, as much value as I could. And I will see you in the next episode. As always, I'm always active on all socials, also to answer your questions in the DMs. And I wish you a good day. Bye.